everything is going Titanic mad at the moment, isn't it? Because of this 100th anniversary of the ill-fated maiden voyage this Sunday. But just to refresh your memory, just in case you've missed every other story about it, sadly around 1,500 people died when the ship hit an iceberg off the coast of Newfoundland. But inside the glorious dining room and on the captain's table, if you'd have been on that voyage, you would have found a touch of the West Midlands. Simon Price is the grandson of Arthur Price, the famous Birmingham cutler. And Simon, you are now chief executive of the family firm. So tell us about your family firm and the links to the Titanic.
Well, our family firm started in Birmingham in 1902. And we've been making cutlery ever since. We moved to Lichfield 30 years ago. In 1987, Commander Paul Henry and I actually went to the site itself, and we'd already shown him some cutlery before then, and he wrote a letter, which is here now, to say that the cutlery at the bottom of the Titanic was the same as ours, and in fact it was ours. So he actually found it.
Had you any idea that your
we had an idea. Sadly, record keeping has never been good because we've moved factories 4 times. And when you move factories, it's like moving a house, but 3 times worse. But there were some dies sitting there with 1911 on them, so we kept those, and it turns out that they were the original dies that made the cutlery for the Titanic.
So tell us about the cutlery that would have been on the ship then.
There were 2 pans that we made for the Titanic. One is a pan called Panel Reed, which was quite popular in its time, but very, very hard to make today. And the other one is quite a common pan called Dubarry, which we also made for the film.
So the Panel Reed, is that what you said, Panel Reed? Would that have been on the captain's table, the posher place?
We're not exactly sure which table it would have been on. We suspect so. But like many cruise liners today, different restaurants have different cutlery, glass and crockery, etc.
But it was more difficult to make.
It's difficult to make because each piece is made in three different pieces to make one. Whereas today you make a fork and a knife out of one piece. So it is difficult to make, and it was highly skilled, and that's the key for me really, is the fact that we're still able to make to the same standards what we could make 100 years ago.
Yeah, so you sort of reissued the cutlery if anybody wants to buy it. And there seems to be so much enthusiasm around the 100th anniversary at the moment. I can see it being quite popular, but before that you were asked to make for the film.
We were, yes. The Dubarry pan was made for the film, and frankly we didn't know about that until after the film was released. So it was quite a shock, because people then say, oh, let's make some cutlery for the film. They just wanted some cutlery made, and it was anonymous really.
So actually somebody doing the film had actually done their research. Absolutely. And found out that, but you still hadn't made the link at that point?
No, we hadn't made the link. Because it was through somebody who was asked to go and get a number of place settings for a particular shot.
Gosh, and so now, what have you brought in the box to show us what you've actually recreated? Is it different in any way to the original?
No.
Same materials, you've used the same
dyes? The base metal is probably different, because steel in those days wasn't as common as it is today. But apart from that, it's identical.
And you're also sending a set down below. Yeah,
we've linked up with a company called Deep Ocean Explorations, who are taking people to the Titanic. $69,000 snip, and you can go in as submersible. And the gentleman who's leading that expedition is taking 5 sets for us to the Titanic. We'll keep 2. One we'll loan to the Belfast Museum, and then 2 we will auction for charity. And as you know, I will try my best to try and raise some money for the We Love Lichfield Fund.
Oh, of course, the last time you were on the show, it was representing I knew it was some kind of charitable reason, the We Love Lichfield Fund, which is where the company is now based. But other than that, can people buy it, though? Are you mass-producing it?
No, we're not mass-producing it. No. We're making a number of sets. And we'll make them this year, and we'll make them next year, and that'll be probably it, because people like to collect.
Those Titaniracks that we've suddenly learned about over the last few weeks, they'll be just snapping it up.
Let's hope so.
And why do you want the cutlery to go down, though? What's the importance there? Is it just for a PR stunt?
Well, they won't go again. Nobody will ever go to the Titanic again, from what I hear. And secondly, of course, the Titanic is in itself disappearing slowly, as you would
for the Titanic coming up day by day. And of course this weekend it's the big 100th anniversary. Just before you go, how is the We Love Lichfield fund going?
It's going very well. It's as these things do. We start slowly, but more and more people are coming on board and supporting it, and we're starting to raise some money.
And what are you using the money for then?
Well, just before Christmas, we gave away £2,500 for the first time to 12 local projects, volunteer projects, where £200 or £300 means such a difference. And that's what it's about, getting money back to people and make a difference in the district.
Simon Price, Chief Executive of Arthur Price, started here in Birmingham back in 1902, now based in Lichfield. Thank you very much for telling us your Titanic story.